Welcome everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little nature montage that I made. I try to mix up my videos by incorporating nature and sewing to break up the mold of these boxy indoor sewing settings. If you happen to be shopping this product in stores, what you do is you measure yourself with your bust size, which is what we have here. Excuse me, I'm also holding the camera. So you give yourself 3 to 5 inches on top of the circumference of your bust size, depending on how you will finish the seam. If you're buying this on the internet, 1 yard should be fine. For the purposes of this video, I bought myself extra because I'm gonna finish this project in 2 different ways, seam-wise. Typically, you get a very long length for these types of dresses, and that's because they want you to use the selvage for strapping, extra support, or maybe some ruffles. You can use that. If you're curious to know how to pre-wash this, I actually don't pre-wash this personally because I don't want to lose the edges. These elastics on the edge are kind of fragile, so I don't want to leave this raw, so I leave it alone and I'll worry about washing later. How I will cut this is I line up the bottom. Don't worry about the top, just line up your bottom and give yourself extra for hemming. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this to the length that I want. Look, this is what I have. Extra selvage on the bottom of the dress. You can make so much out of this fabric by making extra straps, strings, even pockets, or additional reinforcement. So what I'm doing right now is I am pinning the edges because I'm not doing a pinking scissor or a traditional zigzag stitch on this. You don't want to do that because over time these are very fragile edges, and the wash and dry and the wear and tear of the fabric will be obvious over time. I've been there, so don't do that. I already pinned the rest of the dress, so I'm gonna worry about the front part. Make sure you line this up. Fold it. Don't worry about the bulk. And fold it again. So it's gonna look like this. I know that's bulky, but believe me, this is a necessary step to avoid the fraying of the fabric. What you want is to secure the edges as good as you can so that it will hold up with the wash and drying. So I'm gonna start pinning it. As you can see, I'm using a pin now instead of a clip because I want to be able to feel the pinch of the 4-fold layers of fabric here. A lot of people that buy this is that they tend to buy it again for their friends, for their kids, for their granddaughter. So demand is very high. So these typically come out in the spring and summer selection in your local retail store. Okay, I reached the edge of the seam, and for the purposes of this video, I'm not gonna worry about the bottom hem yet because I'm gonna show you a different way of finishing the side seams. So for now, let's go to the sewing machine and we'll zip it all up. I'm doing a back stitch on this because I'm using a straight foot and I can't do zigzag, but feel free to do a zigzag if you want to. This is how your seam would look like on the bulky part and on the bottom. What you can do is do a strap. You can do it now or you can do it later down the road because these elastic will expand and you try to avoid that accident where it will just slip off your bust while you're moving or you're dancing or whatever it is that you're doing. So that's my advice. Of course, you don't have to make the decision now, but over time you can do a V strap here or a strap like that. So this is my mock finish. On the bottom, I'm also doing a mock finish. Let's say you want to add additional trims or lace. To do the serging and sewing machine finish, you measure your bust again, and this time give yourself an inch of overlap. As you can see, I started to clip the edges now, starting from the top, and I'm gonna serge about half of an inch from the edge. So let's go to the serger. So as you can see, I'm serging from the bottom. There's this debate, do you serge from the top to bottom or bottom to top? You know, every project is different. For this particular application, I feel like my stitches will be secure if I start from the bottom, and that's because this part here will be folded later on. Just slow down. If you're new to serging, you have to slow down if there's a change in height, texture, or layers. You cannot just like rev up like you're driving a car. No, that's where the problem starts if you do not listen to your machine. I recommend a sewing machine reinforcement on top of the serger stitches, and that's because you want to be able to taper to your own size and additional reinforcement on the seam edges. Over time, you can sew to the left if your elastic starts to expand. So as you can see, I started to fold my bottom hem. Fit your dress before you do the hem. I cut myself a 2-inch strip and I made a string. This is my previous project and this is the newest one. I did a double fold seam on the sides, and over time, because this has been washed many times, the seam seems to be busting out, and because this is also rayon, it's really prone to fraying, and so be mindful of that if you are working with this type of fabric. If you're curious to know, can you cut through the length of the smock portion of the fabric? Yes, you can. So what you do, you find the middle groove, and when you finish this, you just do a double fold. Let's say you are sewing for a little girl or a teenager or anybody who is flat-chested, you can adjust that. Over time, these do tend to loosen up, so you can just do a running stitch here with your sewing machine. Try not to touch this part. Same thing with the serger. You do a running stitch here or you serge it again. It's up to you. You can also add additional straps to hold your dress in place. This is also great for expecting mom because expecting moms tend to have body changes in the breast and the belly area. So you can just sew another inseam here to adapt to your body size. So yeah, this is very inexpensive. My cost for this project is under $15, and that includes some discounts and coupons and sale that I took advantage of. So for under $15, you get yourself a new dress that you made, and people are gonna ask you, you have such a nice dress, where did you get that? You can be so proud of yourself that you made it with zero to little sewing skills. This fabric may be hard to find, so when you try to find this on the internet, you use certain words like pre-smocked by the yard fabric, pre-sheared by the yard fabric, or smocked fabric for pregnant women. Because it can be very hard to find this if you just type in smocked dress or sheared dress. You know, Google is very overwhelmed with a lot of keywords, so you're gonna narrow it down. And you can buy this on Etsy. You can also buy this seasonally in local retail store, but you have to hurry because it's a limited supply for some of the retailers. I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you so much for watching.